Welcome back to Reading Bear. Today, we will take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady stories. And if you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comments. Let's go!
The first story is titled, Lady, You Need a Life Coach. So, a little background. Back when I was in high school, I used to work as a lifeguard and occasionally teach swim lessons to some younger children at this gym in my area. It was really a nice gig. Picked my own hours, got a free membership to the gym, and the deepest part of the pool was only 4 feet deep. Super easy crap. I stopped working there about 4 years ago, yet I still maintained a membership all those years after I started working at my current company. Fast forward to today, I'm finishing up my workout and I'm walking through the pool deck to get to the sauna. While I'm walking through, I'm recognized by one of the kids I used to teach swim lessons to. He was in the water playing in the shallow end and his mother was sitting off to the side looking at her phone. As soon as he saw me, he stood up, shouted my name and came running towards me for a hug. I asked him how he'd been doing, and this is when I hear this kid's crazy mum, CM, shout, "It's about time you showed up." Thrown off and not sure what she meant by this, I simply look at her and say, "Excuse me?" CM, cut the crap. We've been waiting for about 15 minutes. His lesson was supposed to start 10 minutes ago. At this point it dawned on me that she actually thought I still worked there. I was honestly so surprised she thought I worked there, considering I was wearing a sweat-drenched grey t-shirt, black shorts and running shoes. The uniform for teaching swim lessons at the gym is essentially the exact same one as lifeguards, red swim trunks that say guard and a whistle around either my wrist or neck. So, I politely say to her, "Ma'am, I no longer work here, I haven't in 4 years. I just came here for a workout." And I pointed to my attire. "CM, that's not true, I see you all the time here. You've taught my child a few times. Where's your supervisor? Why are you lying to me?" Me, once again, I haven't worked here in 4 years, but I did teach your son and that's why I said hi to him. Now, I'm just a regular customer like you. I'm just trying to work out and go home. I can give you my supervisor's number over at XYZ Inc., but I doubt he'd care very much about this. At this point I can kind of see it registering in CM's eyes, a look that looked something like, "Oh crap, maybe this guy actually doesn't work here anymore, but I need to save face." At this point she says, "Well, the least you can do is get us a few towels for our troubles. My son is going to be freezing and I forgot to grab some on the way out here." At this point honestly, I am just completely floored. Where do people like this get their sense of entitlement from? I'm trying to think of an appropriate response, and me being the wise ass I am, offer to hand her the sweaty small little hand cloth I was carrying that I used while I worked out. CM shrieked as if I was holding out a dead puppy. "Get that away from me, what are you doing? Go get me some towels, you jackass." I simply looked at her and said, "Lady, I'm not your errand boy. You don't talk to people you don't know like that. You don't need a lifeguard for your kid, you need a life coach for yourself." Honestly, never felt so badass in my life after saying that. I just turned around and started walking away as she yelled at me. It was like a scene from a movie where cool guys don't look at explosions. The next story is titled, Hamburger Time is Precious. Setting, I worked at a bank as a commercial teller. This means that the business owners had their own place to line up when they needed to do transactions. This also means that they couldn't go to a regular teller because they didn't have the many requirements to process commercial transactions. Commercial transactions are typically large sum deposits in cash or check form or placing a change order. A regular teller would only have access to basic change. Nothing compared to the volume one carried in my safe. The client, this guy. My goodness. This guy was something. He would come in every damn day and always ask for the same thing. Well, it wasn't so much of an ask as it was barking orders. He would march up to my counter, slam his bag down in front of me and, without looking at me, just start saying numbers. 21s. 35s. 10 25s means rolls of quarters. It took me almost 2 months to understand his logic. Eventually I caught on to what he was ordering without needing him to repeat. The arousal, being one of 2 commercial tellers for a big bank in the heart of our downtown district, I was busy. I was also very efficient. I got to a point where I was able to predict what each client would need and on which day. My boss was very happy with me and always trusted my judgment. Our bank was located next to a restaurant. A brand new restaurant. A brand new burger restaurant. My colleagues and I kept talking about how we needed to go there because of all the hype. I had recently been on a diet, so the mere prospect of biting down into something meat and cheesy would put me on the cusp of a perpetual orgasm. D-Day, so today is the day. I will finally get one of those delicious burgers that everyone keeps talking about. I'm so excited. It's a cheat day and my body has never been more ready. I also had skipped breakfast that day because I was late. Not smart, but such is life. So I walk into the restaurant and the smell alone. You ever been so hungry that smelling food gives you a boner? Yup. So I sit down at a table and start looking at the options. I'm alone. I'm wearing my work clothes, but I took off my name tag. I'm just a guy in a nice shirt reading a menu at a restaurant. I order the most outrageous beef monster with everything. It arrives. God, I'm salivating just thinking about it again, lol. I take one bite. One bite. And then I hear it. Me equals me, BC equals bank client. BC, a hum. Me, in a trance, look up, hi. BC actually puts his ducking bag on my table in front of my food. BC, when you're done 2010s. 35s. Etc. Me, are you? Is. You can't be serious? Dude, I'm eating and also we're not even at the bank. BC, I can obviously see that. I'm not stupid. That's why I said when you're done. Do this. I don't have time to wait in line. I'll pick it up later. Me, sir, I work at the bank, not here. This ain't a proxy. This is my lunch. My time. For me. Take your things off my table, please. BC, so what, you won't help me? That is incredibly lazy of you. Me, I am. On. Lunch. In another building. What makes you think that the bank extends to this restaurant? This is a restaurant. BC, I don't have time to just stand and wait. You people are so incredibly slow and lazy all the time. Take my stuff and do it when you finish eating and I'll pick it up later. Me, no. BC, excuse me? I am an important client and you will do as I say. Me, not here, you're not. Here you're a regular guy just like me. I'm not an employee here, I'm a ducking customer trying to ducking eat my ducking burger, now duck all the way off. I really said it like that. Mum was always on my case about my swearing. My sister is worse though. BC, I cannot believe this treatment I'm receiving. I will be speaking with your manager about this. Now the conversation obviously got loud and this prompted a manager to show up. Because they were a new restaurant, I gather they didn't want any drama. Manager, sir, is everything okay here? Me, no, everything is not okay. This man is harassing me while I am trying to enjoy my lunch. BC, he is an employee and I asked him to do something and he won't. Manager, sir, this man is not an employee here. He's a customer and he's obviously not interested in whatever you're selling, so please. BC, I know he is not an employee here. I'm not stupid. He works at the bank. I need him to do my banking. Manager, this is not a bank. I'm gonna ask you to leave right now. We do not tolerate yelling and harassment in our establishment. BC collects his things and looks me dead in the eye and says to me, when you finally get back to work and stop being lazy, I will be waiting with your boss. I'll see to it you are fired. Me, bite number 2. I took my full hour. Ate my delicious burger. The manager offered me a discount for my troubles, but I refused. I felt like I brought it on myself. My own personal demon followed me here and caused the ruckus. It wasn't the restaurant's fault. I get back to work and true to his word, BC is there in my boss's office. I don't go in. I go back to my counter and start serving people. I hear muffled yelling and BC storms out and doesn't look at me. Boss lady wants to see me. She asks me if BC came to me on my lunch to do official commercial banking. I said yes and I have witnesses. She says she knows. The owner of the restaurant called her. I had no idea, but this restaurant was also our client. Brand new. And so she made the decision that BC was no longer authorized to conduct business with us. He was on a very fine line in terms of legal conduct. You see, if you try and conduct banking outside of a banking establishment and outside of banking hours, I was on break so I wasn't clocked in, then it can be misconstrued as, well, you're doing some shady crap that you want no record of. She wanted no part in that and pretty much told him to go elsewhere or we close his accounts. All of them. And she's a ruthless idiot. I believe her. Now BC has to travel 10 city blocks to do his banking when he used to be able to walk 25 feet. I still saw him after that. Never spoke to him again though. Also when I go out for lunch, I try and sit in the shadows as much as possible. The next story is titled, You Don't Work Here, Lady. I was, still kinda am, in the army. I was working the brigade staff duty desk on day. I was a specialist, enlisted E4, and this woman comes walking in. She demands to speak with the brigade commander, an 06 colonel. She tells me she's a major's 04 wife and demands to see the colonel. I called up to the colonel's office and asked him if this was planned. They say, no, she needs to either schedule a meeting along with her spouse. Now, get her out of here. I explain the deal to her and ask her to leave. She blew up and starting screaming all of the fat skank dependopotamus stuff all military wives say. Then she looks at me and says, I am a major's wife, I order you to let me in. Fed up due to being 23 hours into a 24-hour shift, I tell her, excuse me, ma'am, are you a major? Then, get the duck out. She leaves. The duty NCO tells me that probably wasn't the best course of action, but laughs it off anyways. We fill out an incident report and figure since her husband isn't in our direct chain of command, and since majors are useless, little will come of it. As we are leaving about 50 minutes later, the major comes running in panicking. The brigade commander comes down the stairs and screams at the guy, if your wife ever comes in here AGA if she even calls my office again, I will have your commission. She's barred from coming on post, not in your custody. No PX, no commissary, FRG meetings and that's it. She tried to order a soldier. He told her to duck off. Well, she can duck off. Moral of the story, just because your spouse is military doesn't mean you are. The next story is titled, Actually I Do Work Here, and No You Didn't Get the Job. I'm driving back to the office after a hasty lunch. I've spent the entire morning interviewing candidates for a vacancy in my team and I've got a full afternoon of interviews lined up. As I drive up to our parking lot, an obnoxious dude, OD, cuts right in front of me, causing me to slam on the brakes hard to avoid hitting his car. I smack my horn and give him an exasperated WTF look when he looks back at me through his rear view mirror. OD ignores me and proceeds to turn into our parking lot. OD then pulls into my designated lot and I pull alongside him. Me, you really need to watch how you drive. You almost hit me. OD rolls down his window and extends his middle finger. Loud Euro techno music emanates from his car. OD revs his engine and yells back, go duck yourself. If this was any other day, I'd be getting ready to respond in kind, but I've got my afternoon schedule packed full of interviews and I don't have the time or patience to deal with OD. I shake my head in frustration, but I move my car a couple of lots away, just in case OD decides to do something to my car. I figure this is the end of my interaction with OD and I rush into the office to get ready for the interviews. Our office manager notices that I'm out of sorts, and asks if I'm okay. I explain what transpired in the parking lot and quickly brush it off. Our office manager is like a mother to me and very protective. I assure her that I'm fine and she can send the next candidate over to my office. About an hour later, I'm between interviews and I hear a knock on my door. It's the office manager with a knowing look on her face. Hey road himp, I think your OD is lined up for the next interview. Send him in, I say. Office manager flashes that same knowing look and nods. This is going to be interesting. A few seconds later, OD walks up to the door and seats himself down in the chair before looking up and realizing who I am. Awkward silence. OD, about just now. Yes. I say. In the parking lot. You know I was in a rush. Stress of the interview, you know. Amazing. OD doesn't even have the decency to apologize. OD then begins to tell me how he's such a good fit for the role and that in his opinion I need to stop interviewing other candidates immediately, or something to that effect. I keep a blank face throughout the interview and just look at him. I don't consider myself to be a mean person, but it is an absolute joy seeing him squirm in the seat in front of him. I wait for another uncomfortably long pause before leaning forward across the table. OD cringes back in his seat. Me, your interview began in the parking lot and I'm happy to say that you will not be getting the job. OD sags visibly and retreats from the room. Office manager's head pops in my doorway 5 minutes later with a huge grin on her face. For the rest of my time at that job, the office manager would bring it up every now and then and we have a big laugh about it. This experience taught me to always be humble and gracious to other people, and also not be a jackass on the road. The next story is titled, Lady Lost Her Mind When I Wouldn't Clean Her Mat. So quick background. I live close enough to my mother that we do this CrossFit class together every Saturday. It's fun and we bond. The class is an hour long and at the beginning we grab mats and weights. We tend to grab a few different types depending on the workout the guy assigns. You have to be early to this class because it's popular and me and my mum grab spots in the back. The class fills up and all the regulars take their spots. There isn't much room but there is space in the front. For the first half hour everything is going well, then this lady comes in. She walks in the center of the room and stares at us, then goes and grabs a mat. I head over to a station on the TRX and begin my set. When I come back I see this lady has pushed my mat into my weights and has made herself a spot. My mum is livid but I wave her off. Don't get me wrong, I'm annoyed but it happens and I continue the class. 5 minutes later our instructor gives us the next set of workouts. I finish my workout on the mat and see there is a free TRX. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a rope you attach to the wall and do different exercises with. As I am pushing through a set someone taps my shoulder. It's this lady. You finished 10. I counted. Stop hogging. First of all I did not. Secondly our instructor has us go through the sets twice in a round, so I was planning to go through twice. Thirdly there was a free on right next to me. I point out the free one and she rolls her eyes and says something snarky about how I wasn't being mindful of costumers. She then demands that I show her how we are doing the workout. I kinda show her my form and then Mike the trainer comes by. She smugly looks at me and is like, good, someone is doing their job around here. I just shrug it off and try to finish my set in peace. I go back to my workout and don't have anything with her till the end of class. At the end our instructor hands out wipes for us to clean the mats before we return them. My mum was returning the weights while I was wiping our mats. As I'm wiping my mom's down, a mat is thrown at me and lands on my hands. I'm on my hands and knees. I look up and it's this woman again. She is kinda smugly looking down at me, throws down her wipe and then begins to walk away. I get up with her mat and hand it back to her. Me, excuse me, that's not where you leave them. Her, what, you are cleaning them? You need to clean mine. Me, yeah, just this one and mine. Her, what makes her special? Me, she is my mum. Her, that doesn't matter, it's your job to clean these. I was kind of floored at the idea I worked there. Only because I am working on losing weight. I'm not obese but I certainly don't have a trainer's body. Me, I don't work here. Her, stop being bratty, it's clear you work here. Me, what? Her, you clearly work here, I can see your uniform. Plus you were helping that woman the whole time. For the record, the supposed uniform was black leggings and a black tank. And there wasn't one. Me, picking up my mat and my mom's, I do not work here. Leave me alone. She then begins screaming the instructor's name and he comes up. With my mum right behind him. She has seen some of the stuff and was pretty much over this lady's crap. Mike on the other hand has no idea, he can tell from my face that I'm annoyed. Mike, what's going on? Her, you need to fire this woman. She is refusing to clean my mat and spent the whole lesson ignoring me. Mike, who at this point understands my annoyance. She doesn't work here but I can clean your mat. I also should tell you that we don't clean mats in the future. At this point the lady huffs out and marches downstairs. I think that's the end of it till my mother and I go down and see this woman screaming at the front desk. She sees me and then points. Her, get that brat fired, she used brat way too much. The front desk guy is this pretty innocent kid. Probably in high school. She doesn't work here, ma'am. At this point her face is as red as it gets. She screams and then walks out. My mum made us wait inside till she left the parking lot. Probably for the best. The next story is titled, Gotta Love Tourists. Little backstory, I live on an island and there is only one laundromat and I am there the same day every week. Our island is 60% tourists, and most of those tourists are 55 plus. At this particular laundromat there is a single air-conditioned room, so that is where I sit and watch Netflix until my laundry is done. I get mistaken for a worker there all the time, yet I know for a fact that there are no workers there, just one old drunk owner, who is never present, and about 20 washers and dryers. But today was a different story, let me tell ya. I am normally a very nice person, but I have the curse of a short temper. So there I am sitting in the little room with headphones in when rich old white lady, we'll call her Ol, comes in. Ol slams her laundry onto the table and stares at me. Shouldn't you be up front or something? Me removes headphones. Excuse me? Ol, it took me forever to find you, you're like hiding back here. Me, what do you mean? Ol, oh my god, whatever. Angrily takes out her wallet. How much? I thought she was just generally talking about the price of the machines. Me, 2.50 for wash and 0.25 per 5 minutes on the dryer. Ol, and dry cleaning, folding and steam? Me, they don't have that here. Ol, what? Fine, here, I'll be back in an hour. Me, what? Ol, are you deaf or stupid? Please just fold it when you're done. I was beginning to understand the fact that she thought I worked here. Me, I'm not doing your laundry. Ol, why the duck not? You're the only place on this dump island. Me, I don't work here. Ol, well you look like you do. Fit right in with this slum, all you locals do. Me, just get the duck out of here. Starts to put my headphones on. Ol, I'll pay you, just do them and I'll come back. Me, even if I did work here I wouldn't be doing your laundry. Ol, why not? Me, because you're a rude idiot. Ol, packing up her laundry and turning very red in the face. I will call the manager. Me, I call him for you. Guess what, has a local too. He owns this slum, as you called it. Her face went from red to white. She packed up the rest of her clothes and jiggled her way out the door. And here I thought I looked decent today. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.